Laura Landon and Alanna Lucas with us this week. Ladies, thanks for taking the time to
Hello,
talk to
everybody.
us. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you.
And Paula Quinn also has a release this week. She wasn't able to be with us. We'll catch up with her later, but I'll make sure that you know about her book and have that link in the comments too. So I thought we could start and go in order this week. Alanna, your book released the first, and it's Never Judge a Beast. Never Judge a Beast. I always want to make it a Duke. Never Judge a Beast by its cover. It's book 3 in the Three Graces series.
It's actually book 2.
Book 2 in the Three Graces series.
It's book 2, but it's the third sister.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so they kind of skipped a little bit. It's just how they wanted it to be done. And Katherine Bone was a huge help with this one. It is kind of a Phantom of the Opera meets Beauty and the Beast. The musical component was a huge inspiration. So on the playlist was a lot of Beethoven. I happen to really love Beethoven, Moonlight Sonata. So that was a huge inspiration for the book. And so it's the second book. It's the three Grace sisters. Their last name is Grace. In the first one, they set up their salon. They're in town. And the second book takes place at a country house party very shortly after the first book. And so we have 2 of the sisters left. One is married. And so it is Theodora and Evelina, and kind of navigating. And throughout the 3 books, Evelina is kind of featured. So you still get her. I'm actually writing the 3rd book right now. So she's really fresh on my mind because she has a very important scene in book 2, which actually kind of leads into book 3. So I'm not going to give anything away there. But hers kind of, her story stretches across all 3. But Theodora is the one who's very musically inclined. And she's just fascinated with Damien and his story. And he's actually scarred. He had rescued or tried to rescue his dad and brother from a fire. So he's dealing with a lot of internal scars, some external. And so it's really the music, her playing piano, his playing piano, that kind of brings them together in this story. There's dogs, and of course they with each book, it's the whole 3 Graces trying to find, kind of navigate their way through the season, through the ton and everything. And they have this salon, which they kind of discuss some improper topics because, young ladies aren't supposed to know a whole lot about stuff. So that still kind of continues in book 2 as they're navigating through this country house party. So it's a lot of fun. There's scavenger hunts. But really, for me, the most important aspect was the music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, it sounds like so much fun.
Yeah.
And I love the Phantom of the Opera reference. It's like the can her music call him to the light thing. It was just
and it was for both of them. It was her music, but it was also his music. There's just this mutual love for the music. And they're each composing their own music, and so that was a lot of fun. I play piano, and so having those before life got really hectic in the last couple of months, it was having those moments of I'm going to go and play piano, I'm going to experience that music and everything, and then come and write, and then constantly have it. It wasn't, I didn't compose my own music.
No, but that idea of being the music before.
Yeah, but it ended up being a very important part of the writing process, where every day I was able to sit down and play for 15-20 minutes, some days longer, and really play like I said, Beethoven is really it has always been a huge inspiration for me. So that was always on my little playlist, both on the piano for me to play, but also on my playlist and just listening and everything. So and like I said, Katherine was a huge help through this, because she's a huge Phantom of the Opera fan, but it was also the Beast aspect of it, where he didn't think, because of the scars, he didn't think that he was that he should be loved because of those scars and everything. And so throughout the book, that's constantly something that he struggled with. I actually learned a lot about leather making. He made his own in the Phantom of the Opera style, that kind of half face mask. So he actually constructed his own masks and everything. And so it was him, kind of unfolding and unveiling parts of himself to her with the mask and the music.
Oh, lovely. That sounds like such a wonderfully immersive creative experience too, the writing of the stories.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Oh, great. And we still have one more Grace sister to go.
We do, and I'm currently writing her story, and it's very different from the other two. The second book, it's definitely more of the love story. There's not they're frustrated because they each want to reveal so much, but it's not the sexual tension, where with the third book, it's more driven by this rake who he just has an idea. I mean, the third book, it's called Blame It on Lord Rain, and she definitely does. So much of their beginning journey is so much about him and blaming him and everything, and it's a very different type of story, and kind of unfolding why they each felt the way they did. And it's been very interesting. I'm still in the process of writing and learning. And right now they're arguing a lot. So I'm like, okay, can you guys stop arguing and reveal a little bit more? But it's not due to Dragonblade, my editor, for a month and a half. So hopefully it doesn't take
Time to work it all out.
Yeah. But right now they're arguing a lot. They're very stubborn right now. They just don't want to release what needs to be released, and so it's very interesting to see that.
I love stubborn characters. Yeah, I love it when they bump heads and nobody's going to give in.
I do too, but it would be great. It would be great if they could release a little bit more, so I could be like, okay, because there's times I'm like staring at the page, like, okay, you guys have been arguing for like 5 pages. I mean, this is a little bit too much. Okay, come on, yeah. So hopefully soon they'll speak a little bit clearer.
Fingers crossed.
Yes, thank you.
So the next book that we have releasing this week is Katherine's book, and it is Truth or Lion. I love the title for this one.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about your book? It's a Lion's Den book.
Yes, it's a Lion's Den book. I'm not exactly sure what number. I think it's like 47 or something like that. But it's a sequel to my Lion's Den book, Pretty Little Lion. Pretty Little Lion was based kind of on Pretty Little Liars and the series. And so my heroine was receiving these blackmail notes. And so Truth or Lion is based on Truth or Dare. And so it's in Pretty Little Lion, we have Lottie and Septimus. And Lottie has 3 cousins, Parthenia, Augusta, and Delphi. And so Truth or Lion is Parthenia's book, and she goes by the nickname Thenie. And she has seen Lottie marry for love, and so that is her goal, to marry for love, but she doesn't foresee that will happen. Because in the beginning of the book, she's done something that causes a little bit of a scandal. So it's not so much of a scandal that she's done something really, but she says that she's done something, and or she speculates what would happen if I did this, and it's kind of taken and it grows, and so she's caused a little bit of a scandal. So her parents decide that they're going to have to marry her fairly quickly. And so as the book goes by, she's introduced to a gentleman. The one thing I loved about Pretty Little Lion was that Septimus and the heroine's Septimus marries Lottie, and the heroine's father, they were big into antiquities at the British Museum. And so in Truth or Lion, the hero, Spencer, who's based off of Spencer from 1923 Yellowstone, by the way. if you've seen it. He's so handsome. So, but he's also into antiquities, and he has spent like many years in Athens. And so he is investigating what has happened to the metopes and pediments and friezes from the Parthenon. And so he's been doing a lot of investigatory work, and so he ends up meeting up with Lottie and Septimus, and he comes to London, and the two of them, Athene and Spencer, meet, and so Spencer suggests they play a game because she's bored at this ball, and she's tired of the fact that now she's probably going to have to marry for convenience when she has seen her cousin marry for love, and that's what she wants. But she also has two younger sisters who she knows that if she doesn't marry, they can't marry, and that any kind of scandal she might have created now reflects on them as well. So she's got a lot of conflict going on and kind of a little bit of a time crunch. And so she does something impulsive. She decides she agrees to play this game of truth or dare with the hero. And I have to say, I have to give credit to Alanna, because Alanna has been a wonderful brainstorming partner for me in all my books. She helped me with Pretty Little Lion, and she's definitely been a big part of helping me with the 3 books that are following. So there's Truth or Line comes out tomorrow. That's Thene's book. And right now I'm finishing up the edits for Augusta's book, which is my own private lion. And then I'll be doing Delphi's book, which is Lion by the Sea. So, but I'm real excited about them, and so excited about Truth or Lion. I hope everybody really loves it and gets into the game they play.
And writing buddies are the best. It's like having another writer to be able
true.
to bounce
So
off of. It's the best. So.
We spend a lot of time brainstorming, and I have an exercise bike, and so normally I'm on my exercise bike, and usually after a couple hours I'm like, okay, we need to call it.
Seriously, we will brainstorm. We'll spend like the first 30 minutes to an hour catching up, and then we'll brainstorm. And she is pedaling on the bicycle 2 to 2.5 hours, and I don't know how she does it. I'm just sitting on my derriere.
It's multitasking. I got to take advantage of what I can.
That's multitasking at its best. So.
It's the time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like so much fun, and I'm looking forward to the extra books in the series too.
Yeah.
It is like its own little series within the Lion's Den world. Laura, who do you have?
I'd like to introduce you to my writing partner. This is Muffy.
Muffy, hello.
Very cute.
Hi. Say, hi, ladies. Muffy is a wonderful puppy.
Oh,
He's
my
just
goodness,
so.
look at those ears.
Yes. He's a little Shih Tzu. And
How old
he lives up to the first half of his name. Yes. And he thinks if I'm sitting, which I do most of the time, that means my lap is available.
Oh, okay.
And so he comes and sits, which doesn't do a lot for my writing.
Yeah.
I have a hard time reaching the computer. And so, he just comes and goes. And
How old is he?
12.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's a well-established fellow.
Well established. He allows me to live in his house. I'm very grateful to him. Yes. I wasn't going to get when our other dog, we had a Shih Tzu before him. And when he died, no more dogs. No more. I can't. That's tough to lose a pet. Very tough.
Hard.
And, but things happened, and my mom took the death really bad. She wanted a puppy. She wanted another dog. And so I thought I'd found somebody who bred Shih Tzus, a friend of mine, but I couldn't find her phone number. So I called, and I knew she didn't have any. She'd given all of her puppies away. So I thought, we're safe.
You're safe.
We're safe. And so, but I couldn't find her phone number. So I called her mother, and I said, can you give me Catherine's number? I want to talk to her about one of her Shih Tzus. You want mine? I said, excuse me? And she said, my kids thought I needed a dog. So they all gave me a dog, and it's this little puppy, and I've never had a dog before, not a house dog.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like it. I said, so do you want it? And I thought,
not safe anymore.
And I said, well, can we see it? I'll bring it right over. That was at 2:00 on a Sunday afternoon. And she came over with Muffy, his food, his bed, his toys, his everything.
She was getting relocated.
Yes. And by 4:00, she was gone. He was still here. Been here ever since. Yes.
He looks like a good writing buddy, and he's a very, very cute face.
Well, he's for me, he's very calm. My brother keeps saying, don't you want to get rid of him? I said, excuse me?
Put him where? He's 12.
I wanted to say, I don't know. Do you want to get rid of your wife? But
a very dark place.
I bit my tongue.
She doesn't watch this video.
Yeah, he won't. No, I don't have to worry about that. So anyway.
So, Laura, your book is a Willowbrook book.
Yes, it is.
A lesson learned. And it's book 4. Is that right?
Book 4. Yes, this is book 4 of Willowbrook. Willowbrook, for those of you who do not know, Willowbrook is a town. And the Duke of Willowbrook allotted parcels of land to anyone who wanted to start businesses and grow this town, not thinking that it would take off like it did. But every book, there's one where the man he starts a bookstore, and it's his story. Then there's the doctor's story. And then there's what else is there? But anyway, this one is the governess's story. And how it starts out, my hero, he's married. He has 2 little children, a baby of 6 months and then a 2-year-old. And his wife loves the river. She just loves to get in the boat and just.
You're going to drown, aren't you?
Yes,
Oh,
just loves it. And one day, when he's not home, but he comes home, and she's out on the lake, just sailing around. One of their servants, he's an earl, and so one of their footmen are rowing her boat, and she's got both babies with her, and she sees him on the shore, and she jumps up and waves at him. And when she does that, he tells her, get down. And she said, because she's very experienced, and she says, I'm fine. And she tips the boat, and he jumps in.
Laura, you put everybody in the drink.
I know. I'm like, wow.
And the guy, the footman rowing the boat, saves the 2-year-old. And my hero jumps in, but he reaches the baby first. And so he has to save, he makes the choice to save the baby. And he takes the baby back to thing and goes back after his wife, and he can't find her. And she's drowned. And so that's his story. He, number one, feels guilty because
Well,
he
yeah,
made the wrong
gave
choice.
him a lot of stuff to deal with there. The poor thing.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And so he thinks if I'd have made the other choice, I'd still have my wife. I wouldn't have my little baby, but and so he's having a hard time living with himself. And my heroine,
right? You got to get this to
yeah.
happen.
Oh, this book wrote itself. It just, don't you love it when some books just, they know where they're going. I never do, but they do. And as if his story isn't bad enough, my heroine, she is a governess, and she works for this nobleman. I think he's a marquis, I'm not sure. Anyway, she works for him, and she's a governess to his two daughters who are ready to go into finishing school. And so she knows her time as a governess is coming to an end. And they have one brother, and he is pathetic. He's horrible. And he's got red hair, bright blue eyes, very good looking. And he has his way with every upstairs maid that there is. And he gets them pregnant. And as soon as they go to the mother and say, your son, she fires him and sends him out without reference or anything. And she's done this several times. Anyway, one night, the son tries to rape my heroine's best friend. And she rushes in to stop him. And the only thing she has to defend her friend is a letter opener.
Oh.
And so she grabs the letter opener and she stabs him.
Oh.
Several times. And so she grabs her friend, and they take all the money they have, and they get on the train or the coach, the mail coach, to go as far as they can. And they can only, because she's sure he died. And
well, he got stabbed with the letter opener a couple of times. That seems a fair assumption.
Yes. And when they leave, she looks at him, and he's laying on the floor. She thinks dead, but of course he's not. Anyway, they make it on the mail coach. They had enough money to get to Willowbrook. And that's where my story starts.
Willowbrook and a fresh start.
I hope it gets really happy after this, because I'm like, tragedy happening.
Well, we kind of have to.
Yeah, torture them.
Torture them a little. Yeah. So, yeah. But needless to say, my heroine falls in love with my hero, and my heroine's best friend falls in love with the town solicitor, and they all live happily ever after.
Oh, yeah.
But not until some other stuff happens first. Because the guy that's supposed to be dead doesn't stay dead, right?
No, he doesn't stay dead. And so he comes back, and since he's the son of an earl or whatever he is, he wants her arrested. So they arrest her. and for attempted murder. And oh, you'll have to see how I get her out of that. That was
But you
real.
promised us they live happily ever after. If we go on the ride with you, we're going to get to the good stuff. It's going to be okay.
Yes.
All right,
And
because I'll
then
go along for the torture as long as I get the good
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
oh yes, it is so. Oh, it's good. It's good.
Good. So
Yes.
what's the next? I love the setup for the Willowbrook series. I love that we get to see the bits and pieces of how the town is formed. What's the next book in this series?
The next book in the series, I'm not sure what the title is yet, because I might change it. But anyway, it is two army pals, friends, and this is during the Crimean War, and they come home, and the Duke of Willowbrook's grandson was in the army with them, and so he volunteers to fund whatever his friend wants to start in Willowbrook. But what he wants to start in Willowbrook is a gentleman's club, a gambling hall.
Oh.
And so that's what he does. And he meets the minister's daughter, the vicar's
That's
daughter.
perfect.
And he needs her to help him keep books. And of course, it causes a small conflict for her.
Can imagine.
But her parents are both dead. And so she's down. Yeah. And so
Not you squeaking, right?
see what he does. Anyway, so she wants to refuse him. She really does. Because as a minister's daughter, she knows she shouldn't be working in a gambling hall.
Gentleman's club. Yeah.
In a club. But she's responsible for her sister. And her sister is 20-something, but she's blind. And so my heroine knows who's going to take care of her.
Yeah.
And she knows she can't marry or become involved with anyone, because what husband would want their wife dragging the sister wherever they went? And she can never leave her. So that's where we're at.
Well, I look forward to that one too. And I'm glad we're going to get to the happily ever after with the poor tragic people. So.
Oh, you are. Oh, they're very happy.
Good. We have one more release. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Then I have my first ever Lion's Den book.
Oh, fun.
Is coming out. I think it's in March. I've got it turned in already. I've written, 50 some books. Yeah. And this was the first book, this Lion's Den book, that I can honestly say I had a deadline. All my other books, just turn them in when you get them done. Turn them in when you get them done. And all of a sudden, I had my first ever deadline. You know, it kept me up at night. So I had to stop the Willowbrook series and write my Lion's Den book. So
about it.
So I could get back to clearing my brain. Because it's not very big, you know.
I'm not going to agree to that.
Well, I had to clear it out so I could get to Willowbrook's back.
Well, that part makes sense. I understand. I understand that the sometimes motivating, sometimes unmotivating part of having a deadline. So
yeah, when you're not used to it.
Yeah.
It's just. the way
Well,
it is.
we had one more book released this week. It's Paula Quinn's The Unchained Heart, and it is the second book in the Hearts of Conquest. And this one is like, it's perfect in this setup because the heroine is a slave, and the hero saves her, and the only way he can save her is by buying her. And so all she wants is to not be a slave, and all he wants is for her to fall in love with him, and neither of them can have what they want because he has to he saves her by keeping her in that role. So I'm very excited to see how that one works out too. So we'll talk to Paula sometime in the future, in the near future, and I'll make sure to put the link for that book and all the other books in the comments so that if you haven't gotten them yet, you can grab them. Dragonblade books are the best deal on pre-order and release, and if you don't get them, I mean, like, it's not even a cup of coffee. If you don't
It's
get
true.
it is, right? It's not even like truck stop coffee anymore. It's not,
Yeah.
it's not even a cup of coffee. And if you don't get them on pre-order and release, you can always grab them and read in Kindle Unlimited. But ladies, this was great. I had fun, talking to you today and getting to meet Muffy, and like this was lovely. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with
I'm
us.
impressed with the size of Buffy's bone.
Oh, yeah. You know, he's had that since he came here.
Oh my goodness.
And he was only, what, a month, 2-3 months old.
Oh my
And
goodness.
oh,
And it still squeaks.
oh, yeah, it still squeaks. Yeah,
I
he's,
think at least the squeaker would wear out.
and now he's laying in front of the patio doors because I have many, many squirrels that live in my tree here. And they torment him to no end.
Yeah.
Yes.
Squirrels gonna do what a
I
squirrel's
have
gonna
black squirrels and brown squirrels, and yeah. And they will come up and sit on the deck and stare at him.
They'll probably tell all their little squirrel buddies, you want to have some fun, go mess with the dog that's right at that window.
And he runs out. By the time he gets there, they're on the railing where he can't reach them.
That's one of those goals that we always chase and can't ever quite
Yep.
get. So.
Never. I told him, you're never going to catch one.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, thank you so much again for taking the time. I really do appreciate it. I'll make sure that the links are in the comments, and we will be back here next week, same time.
Thank you.
Thank you.